Good evening and welcome to the 2014 Karnes County Candidates Forum and Debate sponsored by the Karnes Countywide, Radio Camel 990 AM and KTNR 92.1 FM. I'm Cletus Bianchi and I will be the moderator this evening. We want the voters to hear these potential leaders' ideas and goals, and we also believe this is a prime opportunity for the candidates to hear the issues that concern their constituents. First, a few words about our format. Using the prescribed agenda from the League of Women Voters, after opening statements, we will pose the same question to each candidate and allow a time period for their answer. Then additional time will be given for debate and discussion. Then each candidate will be given time for closing comments. We have placed paper and pens at a table near the entrance to the auditorium. So please jot down any questions you have for candidates. Please be certain that the questions are general questions that all candidates for a particular race can answer. We will try to fit in as many as possible in the time we have. Due to our time format, it is important that the audience refrain from applause or other distractions during a candidate's answer. A few words of thanks before we begin. Thanks to the Karnes City Independent School District for allowing us the use of the high school auditorium for these events. Thanks also to Radio Camel and KTNR 92.1 FM for broadcasting the debate. To Randy Holzer for his assistance with the sound system being used tonight. And special thanks to the City of Karnes City for allowing us to borrow microphones for tonight's debate. A special word of thanks to the candidates for their participation. This is not easy to do. Most of the candidates invited have made time to participate in this evening. And finally, thank you for attending or listening on the radio. This is democracy at work, and we urge you to vote in the upcoming Democratic or Republican primary elections. Early voting began yesterday and continues through February 28th. Election day is Tuesday, March 4th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then, like they say in the movie theaters, please silence or turn off all of your cell phones at this time. So, we will begin with a brief introduction of each candidate, and they will do opening remarks. The order was drawn prior to the beginning this evening. Our first candidate will be Sharon Chesser. Ms. Chesser is a resident of Kennedy for over 49 years. Her parents are Irma Cortez Chesser and the late Albert Chesser Sr. Her life partner for over 10 years is Jose Hernandez Jr. She has worked in local government roughly 18 years, 11 years with the City of Kennedy, and over 6 years as Special Projects 911 Coordinator. She's currently employed by the Karnes County Sheriff's Office. Ms. Chesser is honest, dedicated, and dependable, ready to move forward for Karnes County by working hard to represent all of Precinct 4 as your Karnes County Commissioner. Ms. Chesser.
First of all, I would like to thank everybody for this opportunity. And as a Karnes County taxpayer, I realize the job of Karnes County Commissioner is a full-time job in which I plan on working very hard to be available to find out what the concerns are to serve the people of Precinct 4 in Karnes County. By moving forward, addressing the needs of the EMS department, along with the rural fire needs for more equipment, and issues working with the state and federal government to help release funds to help maintain our county roads that have been damaged by production activity. Reaching out to the oil and gas companies to help contribute to these efforts, these companies have been very willing to donate to our community, and we are greatly appreciated. The EMS, rural fire, and the road and bridge Sheriff's Office and all of the county departments have been greatly impacted by the oil and gas production. While moving forward, the county needs to work toward competitive salaries and keeping qualified personnel. This will be most evident in the needs to hire many qualified personnel for the new jail. As Commissioner, we must be available to the public and willing to work together. I thank you.
Our second candidate this evening is Carol Sweezy. Carol Sweezy is the incumbent county clerk taking office in January of 2011. Before becoming county clerk, Carol worked in the clerk's office for then county clerk Alba Jonas. Prior to this, she was employed by Karnes City ISD as a campus secretary. Carol and her husband, Karnes County native Russell Sweezy, have been married for 23 years. They have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. Russell, Carol, and their youngest daughter, Casey, live in Hobson and are members of St. Boniface Catholic Church. She is active in various community and service organizations. Ms. Sweezy.
Good evening. My name is Carol Sweezy, and I am your Karnes County Clerk. First, I'd like to thank the media outlets who organized tonight's candidate forum. I am pleased to join my fellow community members who share an interest in ensuring the progress of Karnes County. And while we may hold differences in ideas of how we can help advance our community, I'm glad that we are able to cordially share the stage and express our views. As Mr. Bianchi said, I have been married to Russell Sweezy for 23 years. We have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. Our youngest daughter, Casey, attends school here in Karnes City. We live in Hobson and are members of St. Boniface Catholic Church. I am a member of the Young Progressives. I currently serve as president of the Karnes City Rotary Club, and I am a member of Kennedy's Our Lady Queen of Peace Acts Mission Corps. I enjoy being involved in community events and organizations. I took the oath of office in January of 2011. Serving as your Karnes County clerk for this term has been a distinct honor and privilege. The work we have done has further advanced the clerk's office into the 21st century. I was blessed to have had 2 predecessors, Alva Jonas and my mother-in-law, Liz Sweezy, who helped pave the leadership path in the clerk's office. They established an effective and efficient department, one that was prepared for the growth and activity we have experienced these past few years. The county clerk's office serves as the clerk of county court and commissioner's court. We serve as the custodian for all public records, from land deeds to vital records. Our office collects money paid in fines and fees related to county court. These are all responsibilities that demand accountability, and I believe my office, under my leadership, has shown that transparency to the citizens of Karnes County. It has been a humbling experience to serve this community, my home. I am excited about being here and ask you for your support in this election.
Our third candidate is County Judge Barbara Nyber Shaw. She was born and raised in Karnes County. She is the daughter of the late Marcel A. Nyber and Ella Jean Nyber. She has been married to Kyle Shaw for 26 years, and they have a 10-year-old daughter named Madison. Judge Shaw graduated from the University of Houston Victoria Cum Laude with a Bachelor in Science and Interdisciplinary Studies, and from Capella University with a Master's in Psychology. Judge Shaw has several years' experience in protective services and mental health mental retardation services. The Shaw family and their business partners own and operate various successful businesses in the Eagle Ford Shale area, both in and surrounding Karnes County. Judge Shaw.
Thank you, Cletus. Thank you for being here, everybody. We appreciate you taking your time out. I'd like to mention that we have almost 8,000 registered voters in Karnes County. We'd like to see more of you come out for events like this. It gives you a better feel of what's going on. When you have 3% of the voters out, it kind of, I realize people have busy schedules and busy days, but it gives you skewed results sometimes of what might be going on. You go to the Texas Association of County website, and you can see what the county judge does. We do every court. Any court that's done, I'm in that court. I'm in probate court, criminal court, and all those courts. But the reason I'm seeking re-election is so we continue to move forward. We've made obvious progress in the last 3 years. Collectively, we have worked together on large projects. We've worked to secure a new jail. We've worked on the restoration of the courthouse, and we've worked to secure money for roads. The county is ever changing with the Eagle Ford coming in here, and I think everybody knows the oil field's my home, so I proudly understand. I'm glad to have them here. It's both good and it's both bad. We see it all. We've changed, and with the changes, we have state-level representatives trying to represent and meet our needs as well. I was appointed to the Railroad Commission Task Force by Commissioner Porter so we could work on the needs and concerns that our citizens have. A lot of our decisions are not the most popular, but we also have to understand with these changes, we've met mass fatalities, we've lost friends, and we've lost family. It hasn't been easy, but we have to move forward. We have to keep going, and when we talk about equality, it needs to be for everyone, not just the prioritized of it meets my needs. You've got to do the best to meet the needs of the whole county. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Maurice Yarder, a graduate of St. Mary's University in San Antonio with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Finance. He received a master's degree of healthcare administration from Webster University. His military education is extensive, ranging from officer basic and advanced courses, the Academy of Health Sciences in Fort Sam, and completion of the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and the U.S. Army Special Forces Operation Course in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He has commanded and trained units as small as 20 soldiers and as many as 600 soldiers in his 25-year Army career. Of his many assignments, he was the executive officer of a 1,000-bed Army hospital, to commanding a financial recovery task force recovering $28 million in misappropriated government funds. He was also responsible and accountable for preparing and executing annual budgets ranging from $3 to $30 million. Mr. Yarber.
Good evening. I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight, participating in this forum. As the moderator said, I've had an extensive career in the military, and I've proven a record of leadership, service with integrity, and some of my objectives as a county judge are, number one, to the maximum extent possible, Commissioner's Court will be conducted at night so that the maximum number of people from the county and the citizens of the county can participate and attend. All citizens will be given an adequate opportunity to speak, whether or not a subject is on the agenda or not. We wish to establish a monthly mayor's roundtable to which all communities of Karnes County will be invited to attend and actively participate, so we can all, as a community, work to improve Karnes County. We will ask for participation, ideas, and thoughts from all citizens. The only bad idea would be that idea that is never presented or put on the table. I will always ask for a better idea to further the goals of Karnes County to move forward in a positive direction in an effort to better our service to Karnes County. For example, the idea of a mayor's roundtable, in my view, is a great idea. However, it's not my idea. It was presented to me about a week ago by Mr. Don Timray. And that would be the level of my participation, or requested participation by other communities and the citizens of Karnes County. There are a lot of good ideas out there. I don't have all of them and don't pretend to be. I want to thank you again for being here tonight, and I would urge all of you and all of your friends to vote, because your vote does count.
Our next candidate is Maggie Gonzalez from Kennedy.
Good evening. I'd like to thank everybody that came out tonight. My name is Maggie Gonzalez, and I am a lifelong resident of Kennedy, Texas. I am currently employed as the B County Chief Deputy and have been employed for over 9.5 years. As a county employee and taxpayer, I have learned the value of public service, which is why I chose to be a candidate for county clerk. I strive to work together with anyone for the betterment of county government, and therefore I am asking for your support in the upcoming 2014 Democratic election. Thank you.
Our next candidate is David Reynolds. The Reynolds family have been Karnes County residents since the 1860s, and on his mother's side, they've been Karnes County residents since 1912. He grew up in Nordheim and is a class of 1960 graduate from Nordheim High School as valedictorian. He graduated from Texas A&M University in 1964 with a Bachelor of Science with honors in Farm and Ranch Management. Moved to Karnes County after graduation from A&M in 1965. He's been involved in family business from then to the present. He's a member of numerous civic and social organizations. Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you for being here this evening, citizens, county officials, moderator, and the organizers of the event. I appreciate the opportunity you've given all of us to voice our opinions on the issues that are important to the county. As a citizen, the most important thing in my desire to serve as county commissioner would be the citizens, their needs and desires. I know that sometimes in the past there have been personal agendas that have gotten in the way of listening to citizens and what they wanted, because it's something that, quote, I wanted as an official. I would like to moderate that to where excuse me, to where the citizen has a greater voice in county government. The prosperity from the Eagle Ford Shale basically has made this an opportunity for me to give back to the community in public service. There's a saying that some Christian organizations have about giving time, treasure, and talent. I think probably most of us are giving some treasure, so I'm hoping to give a little time and talent back. I don't need the income, and that does not sound, I know it may sound a little bit ostentatious, but I don't need the income, so it is purely for public service. As in private life, I would try and help and assist any citizen or any particular organization that needed help within the county. I don't have a preset agenda specifically. I ask you to consider this in your voting, and I thank you for taking the time to come this evening.
Our next candidate this evening is Adrian Yonta. He was born and raised in Karnes County and has lived here his entire life in Precinct 4. He graduated from Runge High School in 1970. After graduation, he attended B County College, majoring in drafting and design. He and his wife Cynthia live outside of Runge on land that has been in the family for almost 100 years. They have raised 4 sons, Bradley, Wesley, Justin, and Blaze, and all have graduated from Runge High School. They have 5 beautiful granddaughters, and their first grandson was born this afternoon at Methodist Hospital in San Antonio, and his name is Brody Alex Young.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and giving this opportunity to speak before all of y'all. I am not a good speechwriter. Matter of fact, I do not write speeches real well, but I have many things that I want to say. I know it's a lot of time, but I will say this. I was born and raised in Runge on a farm that my parents, Alex and Sophie Dratzikamta, had, who it came from their grandparents, William Yanta, my grandparents, William Yanta. Well, Dad taught me, and Mom also taught me one basic thing that's really important and has been the heart of what I believe in. It's hard work never hurt anybody. And this county needs hard workers, not only in the everyday job, but in the job of county judge, county clerk, and the commissioners. That's why I have decided to run for this position. I want to roll up my sleeves and go to work. This county has become very well known because of the Eagle Ford Shale. It's been great. Now we need to manage that money in a proper way. We need to plan for the future, for our next generation and generations to come. That's why another reason I'm running. I want to make this for my grandchildren and everybody else's grandchildren, all to the taxpayers of the county. That's why I would appreciate your vote and support in the upcoming election. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Brenda Hansler. She is married to her high school sweetheart, Bob Hansler, and they have 2 children, Bob Lee Jr. and Braylon Hansler Stewart. They're members of the First Baptist Church in Runge. She works for Vernon Sales Promotion in Kennedy, has worked at the University of Texas Permian Basin Leadership Institute. She is a business owner and entrepreneur and a certified leadership trainer. She is involved in the Kennedy and Karnes City Chamber of Commerce and the Runge Chamber of Commerce Board, the VFW Ladies Auxiliary member, a Kennedy Rotary Club secretary. She has volunteered at the Lonesome Dove Fest with Karnes City Rotary, the Karnes County Historical Society member, the Commemorative Air Force Colonel, a JCI Senator number 51678, Runge 4th of July Committee Wall of Honor, and a Karnes County Veterans Volunteer. Ms. Hansler.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the organizers of this program, and thank you to you all who came out to meet us. Myself, unlike the rest of these folks, I am new to your area. I arrived here on May 2nd, 1912. 1912? No, 2012. I arrived here. I want to tell you that's not the beginning of my experience in Karnes County. I want to tell you a little bit about who I am, because I don't have the same legacy that these guys have left for you. But I want to tell you that I was raised in Odessa, Texas, in the oil field. I have seen our town there go from a little hole in the wall to a growing metropolis. I understand, I have the vision for what needs to happen, what can be done in a community of this size. I'm excited to be a part of that. I can tell you that I have been blessed with my husband. We graduated from Permian High School in '74, and we were married in '76, went to A&M, and traveled with him. We have lived in 14 cities. I have an unusual background. I have been to a lot of communities. The first place I stop is the county courthouse. The first thing I do is find out what's happening and what can I do to help. I've done the same thing here. I've gotten very active, very involved in all the activities, and I want you to take a minute to meet me, visit with me. Please don't run off today, because I've been coming here since 1972. That's 42 years. My family, my husband's family is from here, and I didn't just pop into town. I'm here because my mother-in-law had a stroke, and I was here the next week to take care of her, and I will continue to be here. My family brought me here, and this is where we will retire.
Our next candidate is Walter R. Long, Jr. He's running for the Democratic nomination for Karnes County Judge. A graduate of the University of Texas at Austin, both undergrad and law, Walter has practiced law in Karnes County courts for 50 years. Walter has served in multiple civic organizations and boards. He and his late wife Carolyn raised their 3 children, Lyndall, Russ, and Mitchell, in Karnes County. Walter is the proud grandfather to 8 grandchildren. Since his retirement from the practice of law, he has now decided to run to serve his community in the capacity as Karnes County Judge. Mr. Long.
Thank you, Cletus. I know most of you know me, and I'm not going to make a long speech about what I can do, or can't do, or will do, or won't do. I've seen much of that since I moved here in 1961, and usually it didn't turn out the way that people represented that it would. I would hope to furnish some new leadership in the county in a different way than anything we've had in recent years, and as such that we could get the moving in a way that would improve the county in every way that it could. We have road problems, and we can't pave all those roads, which all of you know, because of the truck traffic that it ruins them as soon as they're paved. There are just many other problems that we have that we need to deal with on a daily and a weekly and a monthly basis. I think that I can do that and do it in a way that you will be pleased with it. I will devote the full time that I have to being your county judge. I'll be happy to do that. I don't have anything else to do. My wife's now deceased. I'm living alone. It'll be my pleasure to show you how a good county should be run. Thank you.
Okay, the first 2 questions for our debate this evening, the candidates received in advance, and so and for the sake of time, I'm only going to read them every, say, 3rd candidate, just to refer for reference for the audience, so we can move along quickly to your questions. So our first candidate to answer will be Ms. Chesser, followed by Ms. Weezy. In the upcoming elections, Karnes County voters will choose who they prefer to be their county judge, county commissioner, and county clerk. Do you believe you are the best choice for the office you are seeking, and if so, why?
What I do believe is, as commissioner, I am qualified, and I will be available to precinct number 4 on the job full-time, and will be the best, and will do my best for Karnes County.
Ms. Weezy? And she will be followed by Judge Shaw.
I know I am the right candidate for the position of county clerk. Throughout my term, the county clerk's office has had quite the transition period. Within the first year, we accomplished a successful move of over 100 years of records from the courthouse to the new annex. We met this undertaking with a glass half full attitude and realized we had a great opportunity. We were able to rearrange and reorganize some records to accommodate the various needs of all visitors to the clerk's office. We also saw the opportunity to begin the process to go paperless. This concept is somewhat intimidating but necessary. It is a slow process that we are phasing in and will be beneficial to the citizens and to the county. I believe that continuity and stability in the county clerk's office is essential to maintain progress and further advance the efficiency and operation of the county clerk's office. There is still work to be done, and I am not only prepared, competent, and capable, I am excited about continuing the efforts that we have initiated.
Judge Shaw, and the next answer will be Mr. Yarder.
I feel that I'm the proper candidate to remain county judge, as I made a bunch of promises to you when I came into office, and I brought that with me. And it was my platform. I sent y'all out this little postcard, y'all might remember it. That's me and then me, Colin Madison. It says, I will work full-time for the citizens of Karnes County. If I haven't been working full-time, I don't know what I've been doing. I put in many hours as your county judge. There's mornings that Pete and I start before 7 and don't finish till after 6. Meeting with people, trying to gather things, going to Austin. Full-time does not mean sitting in your office going, yes, I'm county judge and I'm waiting for you to come to me for court. That's not what it means. You have to get out there and you've got to move and you've got to shake to get the things you want. When I went and fought for Senate Bill 1747, that room was packed. It was an open forum. Anybody was welcome. I didn't see a lot of people there that I knew, but I was fighting for what I knew was right. I was fighting for our roads. I said I plan to make road repairs and law enforcement a priority with budget. That road thing, I just can't tell you how much I fought for it. The Sheriff's Department, we have added space after space, deputy positions, to the point where we've told we were added too many positions. But I don't think you feel like that if you're in Falls City or Runge and you're all by yourself. Promoting economic growth and development, I've met with oil field companies individually, and we brought in development, we brought in growth. The last thing that we did was HEB. Guys, if you don't know a task, that was a task. We went and we fought for HEB. We got a brand new HEB coming into Kennedy for all of our citizens to keep our tax money here. A sole function of justice for all of our citizens. It doesn't matter what your last name is anymore. It doesn't matter who you know. I really don't care. I had a guy come into my courtroom not long ago and he says, you know, Judge, I wasn't going to come in here today because court cases are usually settled at the coffee shop. I said, I don't go to the coffee shop. Thank you.
I'll repeat the question now. In the upcoming elections, Karnes County voters will choose who they prefer to be their county judge, county commissioner, and county clerk. Do you believe you are the best choice for the office you are seeking, and if so, why? Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes, I believe I am the best candidate for county judge. My experience, training, education, both civilian and military, qualified me for the honor to be elected county judge. I have a proven background of duty, honor, dedication, loyalty, sacrifice, and demonstrated leadership, which makes me solely and uniquely qualified for the office of county judge. Thank you.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
Yes, I believe I am the best candidate. I have over 9.5 years experience in the county clerk's office, with that experience ranging from commissioner's court, county and civil court, probate court, and any and all other office duties the county clerk is responsible for. With that being said, I plan to be a full-time county clerk to fulfill all these duties.
Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
With all deference to Cletus and Joe, who did the questions, if I didn't think I was the best candidate, I would have not signed up to start out with. That having been said, I have a lifetime of experience in the county and around the county, primarily in Runge, but to some degree in Kennedy and Karnes City. I have management experience. I question whether any of the other candidates have very much management experience. I have a multitude of life experiences. You are basically running a big business when you run county government. I question how many people have actually run a business that are running for the office. I certainly think I probably have the best educational background. And further, I don't think any of the other candidates have ever made payroll or to any great degree have made payroll. So on that basis, you need business management in the courthouse and the commissioner's job. I will be available and I will do whatever is necessary. I'm not going to commit that I will be there every minute of every day, but I will certainly be there for the meetings and I will take care of whatever needs to be taken care of.
I'll repeat the question one more time. In the upcoming elections, Karnes County voters will choose who they prefer to be their county judge, county commissioner, and county clerk. Do you believe you are the best choice for the office you are seeking? And if so, why? Mr. Yanta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
I believe I am the best qualified candidate for this office. I have been asked to run before for this office and I declined. That was many years ago. I have since been asked again to run, and I've decided to go forth knowing that past experience, the years I've worked for the state. I have worked for state government for 16 years. I've worked for the cities. I understand what government is. I know how to handle it. I know I have been on numerous, very large jobs in the millions of dollars. There is not anything that I cannot do because I will roll up my sleeves and go to work. And yes, I will be available around the clock. I've always been available. My phone is always close to me, my cell phone. My home phone has an answer machine. I'd be available for any comments. And I would appreciate comments and concerns from the citizens and taxpayers, not only of Precinct 4, but of the entire county. Because as a commissioner, we don't run just a precinct. We take care of the entire county. And that's what's important. The county, not just a person or a few people, but the entire county, to keep the citizens informed. That's another thing that I would like to make sure is done. They need to be informed of what's going on. And that's why I feel that I am the best qualified in this situation. Thank you.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
Well, I like this question, actually. I feel like I am the most qualified for several reasons. One is I've lived this job for many, many years. I'll tell you, back in 1986, I went from community to community, and I identified community leaders, movers and shakers, and I talked to them about their needs in their community. They all came together and agreed that things needed to be done. We built a coalition, and we were able to make things happen. It was because of that work from 1986 to 1994 that the 1995 legislature gave the program that I helped to design and got a state and national recognition for, is now a state program at the University of Texas of Permian Basin in Odessa. I have made payroll. I started at a very young age working in an office, and at age 25, when my husband was transferred to anywhere he wanted, he got to choose where he wanted back in 1980, and we chose the Kingsville, Corpus Christi area so that I could open my own employment agency. I had been working with the employment agency almost since age 14 when I met the family. They still own employment agencies, but I opened my own, met my own payroll, did my own investigation, set up my location, hired staff, followed all the guidelines. I'm a certified personnel consultant. I've done this, I've been there, and I've had some fantastic mentors to lead and guide me. And at 57, I'm still helping communities and teaching leadership development, communication, goal setting, making sure that when you have a problem, we together find an answer.
And Mr. Long.
I hesitate to even start talking about the things that I've done in my lifetime, and I've worked out in the field when I was a very early age with a pair of gray mules and a go devil. I'm not sure how many of you are old enough to remember what a go devil is, but I was very young when I was doing that, and decided pretty quick that that wasn't what I wanted to do with my life, and I went through life and decided I would go to law school and become a lawyer, get out of a small town and practice. I like small town life. Lived in one all my life. I grew up in East Texas, Centerville, Texas. Many of you know that. I've lived down here since I got out of law school and have enjoyed it immensely. I've made a great living for my family, They've all gone to college. I have a son who's got a law degree, another son who's worked for NASA all of his life. My daughter lives here in Karnes City and has worked in the school system all of her life. This is something that I've been concerned with all of my life, and that has been the atmosphere that exists in the place where we live, and where we live for 50 years has been Karnes County, Texas. I love this place very much. I want to do something with it much more than what we've done in the past. I think there are many things available that we haven't made ourselves useful to do and to enjoy. I would expect to. I don't think we're going to have road systems that are good systems, because I think that we are got to stop.
Got to stop. Okay, our second question is one that the candidates received in advance, and again, I'll read it maybe 3 times as we go through. Ms. Sweezy, you will be first, and Judge Shaw, you will be second. At this time, what is the most pressing issue that needs to be addressed and acted on by the elected office you are seeking? And how do you expect to tackle this issue and resolve this issue within the means and limitations of your office? Ms. Sweezy.
I believe the most pressing issue for the county clerk's office is that of record preservation. Over 2,000 volumes of records tell a great story of Karnes County, and while these books do not hold the original documents, they are the official recordings of such and should be preserved and maintained in the best manner possible. With new technology available and with the support from Commissioner's Court, we have been able to continue the process of restoring the older books and protecting the documents in them. My plan is to continue with the book restoration so that the roadmaps of Karnes history will be secure and valid.
Ladies and gentlemen, I made an error on that. I should have allowed the candidates time for a follow-up or rebuttal on the first question. So I will come back to the second question, but I'm going to go back through the first question one more time to see if the candidates would want any more time to follow up, and I apologize for that. So the first question was, in the upcoming elections, Karnes County voters will choose who they prefer to be their county judge, county commissioner, and county clerk. Do you believe you are the best choice for the office you are seeking, and if so, why? The candidates have 1 minute for follow-up or response, and Ms. Chesser is first, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
I don't have any follow-up.
Ms. Sweezy, followed by Judge Shaw.
I don't have any.
Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
I think the only other thing that I wanted to point out that I ran out of time for on my little card, even as fast as I talk, is we have taken big decisions, and we've given the voters an opportunity to participate in our large decisions. That includes the jail, it includes courthouse restoration, and it includes roads. The jail, my friends, is something we should have had a long time ago. We shouldn't even have to be worried about that right now. We had one in 1996. So now we're going backwards, and we're starting back over, and we're spending a lot of money. But it's something that we took to you to be able to do. Thank you.
Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
I pass.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
I'll pass.
Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
I'll pass on that.
Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
I will also pass.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
Well, I would like to just add that in my experience, I have run budgets, I have done audits, I have worked in numerous CPA firms in the different cities that I've worked in. I have been serving this county since I arrived day one, and will continue to serve this community in any way. When I see a need, I always look for answers and opportunities to fill it, to help, and I will continue to do that.
And Mr. Long.
I'll pass.
Again, I apologize to the candidates for that. I'll repeat the second question. At this time, what is the most pressing issue that needs to be addressed and acted on by the elected office you are seeking? And how do you expect to tackle this issue and resolve this issue within the means and limitations of your office? And it'll be Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
I think the obvious answer to that question, again, is going to be our roads and our infrastructure. I think one of the problems that we have in Karnes County is we see a lot of this eagle fruit shell activity, and many of us have been extremely blessed. But I think that we also know that most of our landowners, most of the land in Karnes County, 80% of the land is owned by a very small percentage of the population. So not everybody's gotten wealthy off the Eagle Ford. Some people still drive compact cars. Some people still drive small cars. Have you been down some of our county roads? I realize people's frustrations. I think a lot of people feel that they're concerned about how they're going to get their road fixed. Everybody's attempting to prioritize their road to get to a better place, to be on the get fixed fast list, which just typically makes sense. We all want what's best for us. We all want the best road in front of our house. We want all that stuff. And I think one of the biggest frustrations out there is people are sometimes confused about the unit system. They're sometimes confused about who to call, what to do. People tell me, they said, well, Judge, when I voted for the unit system, I was going to get my road paved. That's what I was told. And I said, I don't know who told you that, but I don't pave roads. And so one of the things that I really think we need to look at is securing more road funding. We're currently working on an old AG opinion from 1960 from Clayburgh County that says mineral rights under county roads go back to the states. Well, if that's your road, come fix it, because our constituents are suffering. Their cars are suffering. I mean, front-end alignments, people have lots of questions, lots of things going on. And I think one of the biggest things that people are looking at is they want a commissioner system back. And it's scary, but it's true. People don't know what to do. Thank you.
Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
In my view, the most pressing issue for the office of Karnes County Judge is leadership. It will be my duty and mission to bring leadership, integrity, responsibility, and accountability to the office of County Judge, to unite the Commissioners Court, all elected and appointed officials in all the communities of Karnes County, not to leave Falls City and Runge out for their own defense, that we may share ideas, problems, solutions, and by working together to make the necessary positive changes for Karnes County and our future. We do this together as a community, not as a single person or just the Commissioners Court. We will need to develop and execute long-range plans for our financial planning, improvement and maintenance of our county road infrastructure, and to qualify and strengthen our Sheriff's Department to meet the needs not of yesterday but of tomorrow. Initiating a timely, a timely budget process beginning in March or April, and continuing that process until we have an approved and truly balanced budget. Work with our road administrators, the outside engineering firms, state officials, legislative representatives for continued state road funding into the future. Establish a monthly mayor's roundtable to ensure all communities become an integral part of the Karnes County effort to move forward and into the future, and make every attempt to improve Karnes County for all of the citizens.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
At this time, for the office of Karnes County Clerk, the issue I would work on is being readily available to the public. I plan to open through the lunch hour and be open till 5 o'clock every day, including Fridays. In county government, there's always opportunity to better serve the public, and that is what I plan to do. I will strive to better our county government.
I'm going to repeat the question now. At this time, what is the most pressing issue that needs to be addressed and acted on by the elected office you are seeking? And how do you expect to tackle this issue and resolve this issue within the means and limitations of your office? Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
First of all, I have no personal agenda. I realize we need roads, we need jails, we need the constitutionally required things that the county has. My approach is less government is better government. You've heard some of the other candidates talk about their vast experience working for the government. My approach is less is better than more. I would focus on taxes, expenditures, the budgeting process, and attempt to get the county out of all activities that are not constitutionally or legally mandated, or to reduce that footprint as much as possible. Quit trying to quit trying to pick winners and losers with tax abatements, et cetera, et cetera. I want less government, not more. Thank you.
Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
biggest thing that is facing our county, in my opinion, believe it or not, is safety. You think, well, what do you mean by safety? Well, there's many things. Roads, for one, that's been mentioned before. Our roads need repair. They haven't been in good repair for many years. Money matters. We need a good, balanced budget. We need to take care of the employees that work for the county. They are the backbone that help this county. If we don't take care of them, they're going to go off and find another job somewhere else. You can't expect someone that's making $9 an hour, $10 an hour to stay here when his friends are going off and making $15, $16, $17, $18, $20 an hour. It just doesn't make sense, and it's not going to happen. So let's take care of our employees. Also, we need to take care of our elderly and make sure that the roads are safe for them to go out and go to town. If you have all these bad roads and they don't want to drive, are we going to have to go out to their house? No. Let's make the roads safe. Let's let the elderly people come to town and take care of their necessities. And one other thing, the schools. Let's make our schools safe for all our kids, grandkids, and future generations. It's not hard. We just need to apply ourselves. Roll up your sleeve like I plan to do and go to work. That is my philosophy. And I will stand behind that always, about working hard and getting it done. That is what I want to do as your next county commissioner. Thank you.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
Yes, one of my goal, what I believe is a priority here, is a little bit confusing. I'll tell you, I've struggled with this today because yes, the roads are very, very important, but we are in the unit system, and that kind of has been transferred over, at least I believe our current commissioners believe that. I believe that as a county commissioner, we need to drive our county precinct roads on a regular basis to identify and help that roads person find and utilize the time and the resources as best possible. I also see that we need to establish protocols. We are currently, and this drives me crazy, but we are announcing in the Victoria newspaper when things need to be done. We don't have a good calendar and organizational management to get things done in a timely manner, to make sure that we're in compliance with the law. That is very, very important. So I believe I can bring leadership. I would very much like to see 5-year and 10-year plans, goals, direction. I know we've got a lot of money coming into this county, and right now it's going into the bank and no one's touching it, and that's good, because without a plan, I feel like it would just be wasted and used in a manner that wouldn't be helpful in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So leadership, established protocols, a plan, a calendar, and let's get some things done, positive.
Repeat the question one more time. At this time, what is the most pressing issue that needs to be addressed and acted on by the elected office you are seeking? And how do you expect to tackle this issue and resolve this issue within the means and limitations of your office? Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
I think the way we need to do this is that I think the biggest problem we have is the proper expenditure of the money that we have available. Has been for a good while. This is the job of the Commissioner's Court now. It's not a matter of taking care of the roads. They're important. They're very important to everybody that drives on them. And nobody's mentioned the school buses. The school bus routes are the most important roads in the county. And we've got to take care of those in a way that will be beneficial to our kids, to us, to the people that own the various land that borders the roads. We've got other matters, though, that require the attention of the Commissioner's Court. There are 4 commissioners. They don't have roads that they have to take care of anymore. They certainly are responsible to the people who elect them foreseeing that they're taken care of and they need to go out on them and look at them. But we need to do many things, and we're not wisely using our money as in our budgetary process. When you ought to start the next year's budget is when you get through with last year's budget. And you ought to waste another day of preparing for the next year. And yet we do all the time wait until it's time to pass a budget. Budgetary process is a real thing that needs lots of work. It needs the work of all of the commissioners' court, not one or not two or not accountants or anything. It needs everybody's work on it. And we don't spend the time on it a lot of times. I don't see it, at least, being spent by the elected officials. And they all need to work on the budgets and work on them seriously.
Ms. Chesser.
Well, as I hear everybody's suggestions, I already had a lot to state previously, and I do know that our roads and bridges department is a big concern. The road issues are the largest for the Commissioners Court, and as a representative of Precinct 4, I want to be there to hear what you have, what your problems are. I want to ride those roads. I've ridden those roads before, many times. We've given suggestions in the past to our road and bridge maintenance department on issues that we've had, and at the time they didn't have the funds for it. Now I think we're going to have that opportunity with Commissioners Court working together. We have to be at the meetings, we have to be available, and we have to work together.
This time I'm not going to forget the follow-up. So we will go through. You'll have 1 minute for follow-up or rebuttal, starting with Ms. Sweezy, followed by Judge Shaw.
I'll pass.
Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
I think there's a little bit of misconception about the commissioners here. Our commissioners work. Anybody that thinks that our commissioners do not work, I've heard a lot about, well, commissioners are just part-time, or commissioners only work so many hours a day, or commissioners don't do this, or they don't do that. I'm in contact with the commissioners all the time. I know they work. They call me about problems. We bounce ideas off of each other, not in the fact of, oh, hey, is this a county decision or whatever, but is this something that needs to be put on the agenda? Is this something we need to work on? Is this something we need to move forward on? Let's not take that away from them. And we do work together. We work together, or decisions would not be made. We'd still be sitting still. We wouldn't be building a jail. We wouldn't be moving forward on roads. We wouldn't be doing anything. Thank you.
Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
I'll pass.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
I'll pass.
I'll pass also.
Mr. Yanta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
I will pass.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long. Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
Well, it would be extremely satisfactory if our Commissioners Court would meet in work sessions, which they rarely do. I'm in the courthouse most days, where decisions were not made, but discussions were had with the public being part of the discussions to determine what needed to be done and how it could be done, and then to make the decisions in the two main meetings that they have, which are the second Tuesday normally of the month and the last day of the month if it's a work day and not a weekend, but the last working day of the month. It needs attention all the time, not to talk on the phone here and there and yonder and whenever, but they need to be busy in meetings and discussions with the public.
And Ms. Chesser.
I agree with you. I think workshops would be just the perfect thing. Haven't seen too many in the past other than during budget times. I'm sure there's been several. I'm not saying that there haven't been, but they absolutely need to be there. We need to have the public. If you can't listen to your precinct or they want to come and present something to the whole Commissioners Court, let them be able to. Workshops are great to hear what the public has to bring to the table along with their commissioners.
Okay, we're going to go off script now. candidates have not seen these questions. These are questions from the public. The first candidate to respond will be Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder. Question number 3. Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford Shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
When you're talking about the appraisal district and you're talking about the setting of the tax rate, you're talking about two different things. And that's one of the things that we have an issue with every year is the appraisal district sets the appraisals. We don't set the appraisals on homes. That's not a commissioner's court duty. That's not a judge duty. We have an appraisal district that has a board, that has a director. I think we just got a new one. I don't know who that is or what that person does. Who that person is. But that's what they do. We don't go out and appraise your home. We have no idea what the appraisal on your home is. That's what they're for. That's their statute. Now, when it comes to the taxes, there's constantly a discrepancy between those that have and those that have not. Those that have not been able to flourish with the Eagle Ford Shale would like to see lower costs because their tax of living has gone up. Those that have plenty of money coming in from the Eagle Ford Shale want us to keep the taxes up so that the county can benefit and pay things off faster. Are you going to hit a happy medium somewhere? I mean, if you have plenty of money, you don't mind your taxes going up. But if you can't afford to go out to eat but maybe once a week, if that, $5 is a lot of money. You are still living in a poverty county. Not everybody has everything that I have or that you have. Gas is expensive, getting back and forth to work. There's still many people that work out of the county. We talk about these types of things, and it's not going to become a balance. Appraisals will eventually, as the economy declines, will go back down. But right now, they're sky high because of the Eagle Ford, because we have money. When you have money's only a problem 2 times in your life. When you don't have it and when you have it. Thank you.
And I will repeat the question for each candidate on these. Mr. Yarder will be followed by Ms. Gonzalez. Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford Shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
I think the question really is controlling the budget. Tax rates and who sets those tax rates are a sidestep. The county judge is the budget officer for the county. That's not passed off to the comptroller or the controller of the county, but the county judge has that responsibility and that accountability by his or herself. For example, the Commissioner's Court, and I attended a lot of those meetings, not one person, not a single person on the Commissioner's Court, including the presiding officer, ever asked why there was an inflation in the price, for example, the jail. The jail was approved by a $7 million bond vote. It increased by $4.5 million before they ever broke ground. They approved the $4.5 million and not a single person asked why. When it was asked, the question was answered by the cost of precast had doubled. Well, I went a step further and I asked and checked into the cost of precast, and it did not double. So there had to be another reason why the cost of the jail increased by over 50%. But nobody asked the question. Not a single person. And that's not the only question. The sheriff's, the other issue is that when the individual departments come in with their budgets, not in a single instance was any department asked to justify why they wanted to increase their budget. Not that I'm against an increase, but I think they have an obligation not only to the Commissioner's Court, but to the citizens of Karnes County why they want additional money. If the money is there, then certainly we should spend it, if it's justified.
This will be Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
In answering that question, I would share any ideas that I have to help this problem and try to come up with a solution that would be the best for all of our taxpayers, to benefit from.
And I will repeat the question now from Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yanta. Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford Shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yanta.
Obviously, there are a lot of unmet needs in the county, some of them necessary, others unnecessary. Our budget, our expenditures have increased exponentially the last several years as the income rose. It was almost as though we have more money now, we can spend it. I'll hark back to the second question I asked a while ago to tell you that we need, and this has been mentioned already, we need a better budgeting process. We need to look better at taxation, and we need to get out of the things that the county does not need to be doing, as well as taking a look at each departmental budget. I have no issue if someone needs more money and can justify it, but just because there's money there and I want 2 extra employees or 4 extra maintainers or whatever else it is, that boat doesn't float in my opinion. Thank you.
Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford Shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Mr. Yanta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
There is a way to bring the budget under control. Close scrutiny of the departments and their expenditures is the most important. That's what's going to control it. We have to look at each case, so to speak, as to why money is needed, especially if it's a large amount. If someone's budget was, I'm just using these numbers fictitiously, let's say their budget was $900,000 last year. Next year they asked for a budget of $2.9 million. Well, that should send up a red flag right there. Why such a large amount of increase? These things that we need to look at, we need to look at closely. Yes, Karnes County has money now from the Eagle Ford. Let's don't spend it in the first year. What are we going to have for the future if, let's say, Eagle Ford plays out? Does anybody know how long Eagle Ford's going to last? No. Will it last 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years? Nobody knows. The oil companies are sure not going to tell you. That's why we need to manage our money. As I stated earlier, that's one of the most important things. We need to manage this money properly. Put money aside. Don't spend it all the first year. Take care of it. There's a lot of future generations coming up in this county. This is a good county. I've lived here 62 years as of the other day. I love Karnes County. I want everybody's taxpayers, every taxpayer, every citizen that has children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren to want to live here. So let's balance that budget. Let's get it down under control and keep it that way and put money aside. Don't spend money foolishly like $250,000 for a parking lot. We don't need that. We need other things that's more important. Thank you.
Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford Shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
I believe our budget is growing because our community is growing, our county is growing. When I first moved here, you could count the number of people. When I started coming here back in the 70s, you could count the number of people here. A report was done when I first moved here, and they identified over 15,000 oil field workers We're living in RVs and motor homes, mobile homes, hotel buildings, etc. You have to expect to need more resources. We need more fire, we need more police, we need more sheriff. That means more equipment, that means more vehicles. As you all know, we've got the Karnes County Historical Society and our county courthouse, which is a gorgeous building, but we had to build the other building to utilize, which meant more supplies and more equipment. The jail means more building, more insurance, more equipment. It's going up because the need is there, because we have the people, unfortunately, that are needing to be incarcerated or whatever. But I think if we watch the money and develop that 5-year plan and make sure that we're taking care of while the money's here. If it wasn't here, we wouldn't be able to build a new facility. We wouldn't be able to do the various things that are happening. So it is time while it's here, because it won't be here forever, and if we don't do it now, we won't have the money when it's gone.
Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
Well, the answer to that is, of course, yes. There is a way, and it's based in the Commissioner's Court. They have the authority to decrease that budget in any way that they choose to. They need to meet more. They need to consider the budgetary process more than they have been. And that's a full-time job now. It's not a part-time job. They don't have to do road work anymore. It's a full-time money management job, and they need to start taking care of it in Commissioner's Court. They need the leadership that the judge can furnish sometimes. Since I've lived here, we've had commissioners furnish leadership, not always the judge. The judge is the one that you would expect to, but we need to start doing something on a regular basis in Commissioner's Court to take care of this problem.
Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Ms. Chesser, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
You know, we're in a unique situation. It's very different. We don't have anything to go by in the past other than trying to utilize the monies that we have for the situation. But looking out in the audience, I see many county employees, many people that I work with, different departments, and let me tell you, what they've gone through, each department has expanded in their workload in so many different ways, and it's expensive. Their workload has, I'm going to just be kind about it, tripled. And I know this from experience in working for the county. We can get a budget. We can work on it in this workshop, working together, listening to other people's ideas, our public. You are co-employees, everybody. But it is unique because it's brought concerns that we didn't have before. Yes, we had road issues. We didn't have quite the money to fix them. Now we might have a little more money to fix them, but the traffic going through there isn't going to, it's not going to stop, it's not going to slow down, and us putting brand new surfaces on everything isn't going to fix the situation. Our EMS have more calls than they've ever had before. I'm telling you, each department, our sheriff's office, like they stated, we have a weigh station, and I know the state is helping us, but we need more. We need qualified personnel to run it, and they require a salary that maybe we're not ready to see, but we're going to have to address it. Maybe use some of that money that the public may want us to hold back on now while we need it. But working together. Thank you.
Not all of the Karnes County citizens have shared in the Eagle Ford shale. Yes, the tax rate has gone down, yet most home appraisals have doubled in 4 years. The fiscal year 2011 budget was $9.85 million, and the budget for fiscal year 2014 is $30.1 million. Is there any way to bring the budget under control? Ms. Sweezy.
Well, I believe it's reasonable to expect some increase each year in each department. I think that happens. But I think following a strict timeline on requests so that there's time then for discussion later on to talk about the increases and why they may be needed. I agree with the justification for any increases. By the end of the budget process, everyone is tired and frustrated, and so last-minute requests tend to get passed pretty quickly, and that jacks the budget request up a lot. So a structured timeline and following that timeline from each department and having those discussions with the department heads timely, so that at the end of the process, when it's time to make approvals, the commissioners and the judge have had time to ask for any justification or review any justification for those requests, and instead of doubling the budget right away, maybe phase in what you need over the next 2 or 3 years.
Now the candidates will have the opportunity for a 1-minute follow-up or rebuttal. We'll have Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
One thing I would like to say is our elected officials don't come to us with an empty hand. They come to us with copies of what they need or stuff that they've asked for. They come to us with different various bids. They do their homework. Let's not say that they're not doing their homework and just coming in at the end. But we're kind of past the pen and pencil stage. Some of our newer programs and software that we're able to obtain now is a little bit more costly. Hopefully it's going to last longer. We're buying longer, license agreements, stuff like that. But let's not discredit our elected officials and say that they're not doing their homework. In many instances, the vendors will drag it out and they don't get their bid in a timely manner like they think they're going to. They literally have to work for it. They know when their budgets are due. They do try. They try to get stuff to us. And if you're ever sitting in there, you know how hard it is sometimes to come up with the stuff that you need. But they bring us documentation. They bring us examples. They show us what they're buying. We know what they're getting. Thank you.
Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
Budget process needs to start in March or April, not in June or July. That way it gives everyone adequate time to start the budget process and develop their requirements for the coming year. One of the problems that we have too with the budget is, and it becomes automatically inflated, is when you start to pass amendments to the budget and they don't meet the requirements. In the past 2 years, over 80 amendments to the budget, which cost an additional $2 million. Not much money, but if you keep adding $2 million, it amounts to real money. And that needs to stop. We need to operate under the Constitution of the state of Texas, instead of a perception of what's right and what's wrong, and that the individual makes a decision on what's an emergency and what is not. But there are a lot of things we can do to make sure that the budget is prepared properly.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
First of all, I think we need to work together, get our priorities in order, and then we can decide on a 5-year plan.
Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
In order to give some relief in terms of taxation, which was basically the question that you brought up a few minutes ago, this hasn't been brought up, but I think the county is primed for it, and that is to take a look at doing more contracting out of services and fee-for-service situations where you don't have someone on the government dole perpetually when they're not needed. Thank you very much.
Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
The workshops need to be performed or implemented to get the taxpayers' opinions. There's a lot of people sitting out here in the audience, a lot more at home, that have good ideas. Sometimes they're afraid to mention them. They may have a much better idea than one of the commissioners or the county judge or anybody. We need to listen to the taxpayers. Listening is a very important thing. That's one thing we need to do, listen. If you listen, it makes you a better speaker because you know what's going on. So we need to get the taxpayers involved. Thank you.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
The only thing I'd like to add again is that organization management to identify by a calendar and by those requirements by law that things have to be done by a certain date. I believe that commissioners, they are responsible to all the county employees, not just the county citizens. And I'm not sure if it's been done in the past, but I believe that we need, it's our job to sit down with the figureheads of each of the positions and ask them, what do you see in the next 12 months? What do you see, how do you see growing, changing, equipment needs, maintenance needs, those kinds of things. We have got to start communicating with those people that are putting their numbers in our budget. It's their budget, it's what they see and they need, and I think we need to sit down and talk to them about it.
Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
Just one more comment about the budgetary process. It's a full-time job. I don't care, you can start it on a certain day or whatever you want to, but whenever you pass the next year's budget, you need to start working on the year after that. And you need to start considering it. You need to have meetings that allow people to have input into it, and that hasn't been going on. It needs to start.
Ms. Chesser, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
What you don't know about me is that in the past, you do know a little bit about my county employment, but what you don't know, as an unelected official, I did the budget in my department for over 6 years. Actually, I did it 7, but the judge chose to do one of the years I was there. And it was difficult. I went, I talked to each of the departments that I needed to. I gave them what we were requesting, and each time, it really felt to me like it was falling on deaf ears, like she was saying earlier, because they get tired. We can't get tired. We got to be open and available and keep listening to what our needs are for each of our department, each of whatever the county needs, whether it's road and bridge, EMS. Like I said, I'm very, very pro working for the safety of our county in our EMS, rural fire needs, the weigh station, feel like we're missing out on a little bit of money there. But we just have to work together, and it's a long process, but we have to be available, even if it takes longer than we thought.
Ms. Sweezy.
Well, I agree with several of the statements. The communication needs to be open. There needs to be a lot of listening going on, and the department heads need to be consulted, sometimes individually. It's hard in a group of people when everyone is wanting things added to their budget. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot being said, and so listening is the important thing.
Our next question is submitted from our audience this evening. Mr. Yarder, you'll be first, followed by Ms. Gonzalez. Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Mr. Yarder, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
Honesty. It's not really difficult to answer that question. You have to be true. You have to do things in good faith. You have to provide that leadership where you solicit from the ones that you work with their best effort. To put it in a very definitive term, it's very difficult to do because it actually requires a lot of actions. It takes honesty and integrity. It takes leadership. It takes courage for honesty. And some people just don't have that ability to do that. Thank you.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
First of all, honesty to me would be to believe in something. Because if you don't believe in anything, you can't stand for anything.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yanta.
It would be the integrity that an individual has, that whatever he or she put forth would be abided by in their actions. That if they made a comment that I will do so-and-so, that comment was followed through on, unless there was some overbearing reason that it couldn't be or shouldn't be. But basically, it's the individual's integrity and his ability to function within those limitations.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
Honesty to me means simply taking care of the county and the taxpayers and the citizens of this good county. If you say something, do it. Don't just say, well, I want to help cut taxes, and no, you can't do it, or not to a great extent. If you're going to say something, stick to it. Do what you want to do. Do what you say you're going to do. Make the people respect you and your decisions. That's what counts. If they respect you, you will respect them. And that's the whole ballgame in a nutshell. If you respect your citizens, your taxpayers in this county, they're going to respect you. They're going to know you're a man or woman of your word. That's what counts. Stick to your word. If you tell somebody, well, I'm going to do it this way, then do it. Make them proud. Make them proud to be a citizen of Karnes County like I am. I'm proud to be a citizen. That's what honesty means to me.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
Honesty is, in my opinion, a Christian value. As a Christian, I believe honesty is the way you live. Honesty is how you treat other people. As a Rotarian, I think that is the best definition of honesty, and I'll just repeat to you for those of you that are not Rotarians. But first, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And let me think. I'm not standing up there at the podium. Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? It's all about doing what's right, listening, and making sure that you don't do something that you'd be ashamed of, embarrassed of, wouldn't want your grandmother to know about. It's doing the right thing.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
We've gotten, how many, 8 good opinions? No, 7 so far. None of them are wrong. It means to me doing what you say you will do. If you give your word of any kind, that you stand by that and do the things that you say you will do. Don't make representations that aren't, and you know this is a terrible thing to ask a lawyer to start with. But nonetheless, I've lived with it 50 years, practiced law, and had a good reputation for honesty, I believe. I don't think anybody has said anything wrong about it. I think that every one of you has a different viewpoint about honesty, but nonetheless, it means sticking by your word, doing the things that you say you will do. Don't say things that are not true. I think all of you understand what honesty means.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Ms. Chesser, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
Honesty is truth in the way of life. It's the way you live. It's knowing that you've got your limits and that you can't tell somebody that you can do something solely when you know better. No promises made that you cannot keep.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Ms. Sweezy, followed by Judge Shaw.
Honesty. Say what you mean and mean what you say. If you give your word to someone, make it count.
Please tell the voters what the word honesty means to you. Judge Shaw.
I think honestly simply means the truth. It's your morals, it's your value, it's your integrity, it's your dignity. That's what honesty means. Honesty means that we do it together. It's okay for me to do it, but you do as I say. Honesty means equality for all. It means that you're telling the truth. It's not a hierarchy or a political class structure. It's just simple truth.
Each candidate now has 1 minute for follow-up or rebuttal. Mr. Yarber, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
Pass.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
I'll pass.
Pass.
Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
I'll pass.
Pass.
Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
I'll pass.
Ms. Sweezy, followed by Judge Shaw.
I'll pass.
I think we're all good on that one.
All right, now we have a question submitted online. And this will be answered first by Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds. In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
I believe it can be improved by the elected official getting in there and helping out. If you see that your staff is needing the assistant, it's not the time to be sitting behind your desk watching them do the work for you. You need to get in there and do the job and help them to better serve the public.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
Perhaps some additional training might be necessary in some spots. As a public official or a public servant, often the part about being paid by the public and being their servant gets lost in the thing. And the individual working for the governmental entity becomes all important rather than the client. Perhaps some additional training. I know that many of the departments struggle with sufficient qualified applicants. I'm not faulting any of them per se, but the only thing I could back up to would be some additional training, as well as this change of mentality that you are not the important one, that person across the counter or across the desk or whatever your particular position may be is the important one. They are paying your salary, and so they're the one that needs to be attended. There needs to be attended to first and fast and as best as possible by the individual taking care of them.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
There are many ways we could improve it. Of course, it was mentioned before to have additional training. That's true. That's one way. Another way is when you are trying to perform customer service, a thank you goes a long, long way when you're talking to a customer. And another thing that goes a long way, the customer is right. Okay, maybe he may not be right in your eyes, but he is right, because in a way, the customer, you, the taxpayers, are paying the salary. Okay, so that person, the customer, taxpayer, citizen, is right. That will make that person have a great admiration and respect for the county official or the county employee, and he will spread that, and he'll tell his friend and say, boy, you know, that guy I talked to yesterday, boy, he was so nice, thank you, polite, goes a long way. Be surprised what a thank you will do. Just a little couple of words, And it'll spread like wildfire. That's one good way, of course. And as I mentioned before, to have some additional training. And the supervisors can do some of that at a safety meeting. They just say, all right, now listen, when you go out and you see your customer, be sure and tell them thank you. And that's what I'm saying now, thank you.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
I'm going to say I don't believe that we have enough customer service. I can tell you that I've been researching and trying to find things and trying to prepare for this for probably 4 to 6 months before it was time to put my name on the dotted line and commit to being a candidate. Customer service is a 24/7 thing if you are a county employee. It's 24/7. When you leave that office, you can't be someone else when they run into you at the grocery store or at the football game or something like that. Customer service is something that is trained, and it's also ingrained in who you are. And it's important that we do the training and assign someone in each of the offices to provide that customer service. I hate to say it, but when someone walks in the door, someone should look up and get up and go to that customer service desk or to the door. It's important. You are the face of the county. What can I help you with? What are you doing? What do you need? And it doesn't end at 5 o'clock. It's something that we need to look at and address and make sure that we're listening to our customers and asking for their input. What would they like to see us do? What would they like to have done? But customer service is something that I think we need to address because, well, frankly, it took me forever to find a map of the precinct, to get the roads for the precinct, to identify all kinds of things. It's not there. Nobody knows. It's a big question mark. Again, leadership and consistency and programs are important so that everybody knows the answer in the county.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
I generally agree with Mrs. Hansler. I think she covered it pretty well.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Ms. Chesser, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
Well, I know it can be approved because right now, other than a commissioner's court meeting, there's not really a place where you can walk in to meet any one of your commissioners that represent the county. You may be able to get a hold of their phone, get their number, and they'll contact you back. But that's part of it. There is no space currently. That is something that the county is going to have to work on. There has to be a place where you can come in and be met from your constituents. And currently there isn't one. So there is a place for improvement there. Thank you.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Ms. Sweezy, followed by Judge Shaw.
I think in anything we do, there's always room for improvement. I think each department has a different type of customer service that's required. As public servants, our service to the taxpayers is of the utmost importance. Just because you don't see the elected official in the trenches, so to speak, doesn't mean they're not serving their constituents in a different way. They may be working on something else, or there may be other projects going on. Customer service can always be improved, and if you are dissatisfied with the service and you've walked into one of the offices, you need to let that elected official know, because it's important that that elected official know what is felt about their department. Not another official, not another department, but that department.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
I think when you look at elected officials and them offering customer service, they're going to know if customer service is being offered in their office. But when you look at the county judge's role, I think it just depends on what you're doing. When you're doing an MHMR commitment, that is your customer, that is your client. And that's a difficult situation because that's not always a happy situation. When you're intervening in a child abuse case, when you're looking at protective orders, those are not always happy situations. But are we providing a customer service? Yes. I don't think we've ever put anybody on probation and have them go, thank you, but are you providing a service? Yes, that's our job. That's what we do. And so I think you have to dissect these offices and look at each one of them individually. But what we do is do the best we can to be fair about it, be judicial about it, and believe in our Constitution. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. And if you need help, that's okay. And if we have to go to your house to help you, that's okay too. And all those situations arrive. So I think sometimes, I know in our office, we go above board. There's times we do have to go to houses. There's times we do have to go to translation because we need help. And you're going to strive to do those things. So the job of the county judge, why, yes, it is administrative, and it does have criminal, and it does have probate. There's a lot of things that you do that you're a helping hand also. And a lot of times when people don't know where to go, they come to you for those services. And if you provide that service, you're providing customer service. Thank you.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved? Mr. Yarder.
Well, you can get pretty good customer service from about half the county elected officials. You can go to the treasurer's office and get help. You can go to the auditor's office and you can ask her a question, she'll answer. You can go to Brenda Janacek's office and she'll be there, and either she or her staff can answer. But I would challenge anybody in this audience, if they can show me where a published telephone number is for a county commissioner. I would challenge you, any of you, if there is an office for a county commissioner. They operate out of their car, they operate out of a briefcase, but they don't operate out of an office, nor do they maintain or keep any standard office hours. There's no way to contact them unless you just happen to have their telephone number. So you can't tell me about customer service unless you just happen to have a telephone number. But if you go to the telephone book, go to the county courthouse annex, look on the bulletin board, you won't find a telephone number. And what needs to be done is everybody needs to understand that you pay our salary or their salary. It's not the other way around. We're not there to make it convenient for the public officials. We're there to make it convenient for the citizens. And we don't do that, and we do not do it well. Thank you.
And now each candidate is allowed 1 minute of follow-up or rebuttal, starting with Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
I'll pass.
Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
Just what I said a few moments ago to reinforce the philosophy and the attitude that you are a public servant, that you are not an independent of all activities outside of your situation, needs to be stressed to the employees, and a little bit of speed and effort sometimes in some departments will help a whole lot. Again, public servant. Thank you.
Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Hansler.
Customer service, as I stated earlier, means one thing and one thing only. It means being polite and courteous to your constituents, your taxpayers, your citizens. That's the main thing. It's all of that in a nutshell. If you can be nice and polite and kind to them, they will respect you. And that's what it all boils down to, is respect. Thank you.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Mr. Long.
I'll just reiterate, it's 24/7. You're never off. Wherever you are, whatever you do, as a county employee, you better be prepared to help your constituents, and even those in different districts than yours or precincts than yours. You need to help and know the answers, what's going on in your county government.
Mr. Long, followed by Ms. Chesser.
I think that the matter has been covered well by the whole group.
Ms. Chesser, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
I agree with Mr. Long.
Ms. Sweezy, followed by Judge Shaw.
None of us are perfect, but if we're true public servants, we'll take your criticism and we'll take your suggestions and we'll improve customer service for everyone.
Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Yarder.
I think we've covered that.
And Mr. Yarder.
Please read the question.
In the business world, a high level of customer service is often the key to success. Do elected county officials and county employees currently offer a high enough level of customer service? And if not, what ways could it be improved?
I think I've already answered that. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time for questions that we received both online and in the audience. But at this opportunity, the candidates will have a two-minute closing statement, closing remark. And I think they would all be willing to stick around afterwards to answer your questions if they were not asked this evening. So we will begin with Ms. Chesser, followed by Mr. Yarder.
I'll make this one pretty short. I'd appreciate the chance to represent Precinct 4 for Karnes County and would do the best of my ability. Thank you.
Mr. Yarder, followed by Judge Shaw.
I was commissioned as second lieutenant at the ripe age of 22. I spent my entire adult life defending the Constitution of the United States and also the Constitution of Texas. I was also a commissioned officer of the Texas National Guard. One thing that I think is most important is, in my defense of the Constitution, I was also defending your right to vote. And that is one of the most important things that an individual can have, and that no one can take away from you. But you can give it away. And 75% of the population of Karnes County and 75% of the United States of America gives their vote away. They don't vote. And your vote counts. Every vote counts. So I urge you to vote. I urge all of your neighbors to vote. Ask them to vote. Take them to vote. And please vote, because your vote does count. Thank you.
Judge Shaw, followed by Mr. Reynolds.
I think we've talked a lot about equality, integrity, and honesty. And, you know, when those topics come up, everybody has a lot to say. But I strongly encourage you to beware of imposters. When you look at candidate signs and they tell you what they're doing and they tell you what's going on, we have candidate signs out there that says an experienced full-time county judge. I'm the only one here. I don't think anybody up here on this panel has been a judge besides myself. We have things that say things like integrity and honesty. And we look at old papers and I've heard, well, there's so much bickering in the county. Let's look at old papers. Let's go back in May and February of 2010 and see a different commissioner's court being removed, bad things happening. We're finally moving forward. We've had our commissioner's court try to be removed by people that are now saying that they want to better the county. How many times are we going to go back and forth and saying, well, that one wasn't good enough, so let's remove all those and go get us another one. Let's remove those and go get us another one. I don't remember as many elections as you folks do, probably one of the younger folks on this panel. I remember when Miss Lindsay was a tax assessor collector, poison pen letters came out because Miss Ender was going to be a better choice. I can remember when Miss Ender was tax collector assessor, poison pen letters came out because Miss Frankie was going to be a better choice. I can remember when Mr. Gentry ran for judge, poison pen letters came out talking about a death in his family and soliciting votes. And you talk about honesty and integrity, I don't think anybody would ever use a family member's death for that. So if we're going to be honest and if we're going to look at integrity, stay on track. I do hope you go out and vote. I hope you go out and vote for the right reasons. You have the choice to hire and fire. That's customer service. We do it all the time in the oil field. We have people that don't work, we let them go. We go get new ones. It's part of life. I hope you go out and vote, and I will promise to keep doing things for you honestly and integrity. Thank you.
Mr. Reynolds, followed by Mr. Yonta.
I certainly appreciate the patience of everyone here this evening as we plowed through questions, hopefully answered some of your concerns. If not, as was mentioned, if you have any questions for any of us individually, I'm sure everyone will be happy to answer them. I would ask the public, Precinct 4, to consider my candidacy. I think I have the only management mentality in there. I've spent less than 5 years of my life that I got a paycheck. Outside of that, I've always been on my own and managed other people. I think the county, as I mentioned, is a government, the county government is a big business, and we need more management ability and less employee mentality about what all we can do and what we can add and who needs this or what needs that. Let's look and justify everything that's done. Again, I thank you for the evening. Appreciate it.
Mr. Yonta, followed by Ms. Sweezy.
First off, I would like to thank everyone that came out this evening, all the taxpayers and citizens of the county. I know they had many questions, many concerns. Maybe you still have a few. But what I am for tonight, all I ask from you is to look at things I've done. I've worked on many businesses, many large projects, and always have come out good with them. I've helped companies. I've helped individuals through rough times. I'm not trying to be the world's greatest person, because nobody is perfect. But as my parents told me to roll up your sleeve and go to work, I was in the field at a very early age too. I was driving tractor when I was in the 2nd grade. Dad taught me that. That one day I didn't want to work, and Dad said, "Well, good, you don't have to eat." Well, I'd rather eat than not eat, so I stayed on tractor and worked. That's the way I feel as this position of county commissioner. I hadn't have put in for it if I wouldn't give my all to it. I don't give 100%. I want to give 110%. I can be reached anytime, anywhere, any place, and that's my concerns. If you have a question you want to ask me, I'll be more than happy to give you whatever answer I can to satisfy you. And if I don't know it, I will try to find out. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Sweezy, followed by Ms. Hansler.
Once again, thank you to those who facilitated tonight's forum. I believe it provided a great opportunity for the voters to see and hear what each candidate has to offer. I've had the opportunity to serve you, the citizens of Karnes County, since January of 2011 in the capacity of county clerk. Together with my amazing staff, we have maintained the integrity of the office and have worked and will continue to work diligently to always meet your needs. Karnes County is not only where I live and work, it is my home. It is where we have chosen to raise our daughter. When you set your roots somewhere, you are investing in the community. So I ask that each one of you invest in me with your vote. I want to continue to serve you, and I want to continue to be your county clerk.
Ms. Hansler, followed by Ms. Gonzalez.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for coming tonight, and I appreciate your attendance and your questions. I want to say if I'm elected as County Commissioner Precinct 4, it'll be my first steady job, and I say that by paycheck job. I've always worked commission. I've always worked making sure everybody else was paid before I got paid. I've been in a position most of my life of ownership and entrepreneur. I'd like to tell you what I believe, and that is I believe that commissioners are responsible to all citizens, regardless of age, sex, race, creed, national origin, sexual orientation, or political party. I'm here for everyone. I believe that county commissioners are responsible for all the county money, income, expense, and absolutely balancing the budget. I believe that we need to follow established protocols and to establish protocols to ensure on-time budgets and on-time published announcements and anything else required by law. I believe we need to establish a calendar and a plan, dates and deadlines to meet all required deadlines. I believe we need open communications. I too could not find a phone number, an email, an address, or a box to put information in to communicate with our officials. I also commit to driving our precinct roads. I will be your county commissioner 24/7. It's how I live my life. Those that know me know I never hardly leave the office before 8 or so. I will listen, I will be your voice, and I will act on your behalf. That's the new voice I want to bring to this county. Not that I'm new, but I want to represent you, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Ms. Gonzalez, followed by Mr. Long.
In closing, Karnes County, I believe it's not about who's endorsing the candidate or what relative held office. It's can the candidate fulfill the duty. I have 9.5 years experience working in the county clerk's office. So if it's experience and knowledge you are seeking, make the right decision and vote Maggie Gonzalez for Karnes County Clerk.
And Mr. Long.
It's been a pleasure to appear before this group tonight. I also would like to thank all of the people who are listening on the radio, and I think we've got another stream that listeners, and we appreciate those people taking the time to hear this and to get an idea of what we're about and what we think. And I'm hopeful that if I get elected as county judge that I can run a county that, and the county judge doesn't run the county, of course, but different people have different influences. And I would hope that I could influence it in a way that would be open and above board and helpful to everybody who lives in this county. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our forum and debate for 2014. You are reminded that the upcoming Democratic and Republican primaries, early voting began yesterday and it continues through February 28th. And the election day is Tuesday, March 4th. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I would again like to emphasize our thanks to the Karnes City Independent School District, countywide, Radio Camel, KTNR 92.1 FM, and the City of Karnes City for facilitating this. Thanks to all of you for coming and participating and listening online. And this is not easy. It's hot up here. They don't know the next 4 or 5 questions what they're going to be. They've got to think on their feet. These candidates deserve a round of applause and your respect, and stick around.